Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am Mohammad Shahjahan, Assistant Professor, Department of Accounting, Milestone College, Uttara, Dhaka.
Student, this is our fourth lecture on subtab, and all you know that we are in worksheet. Dear student, at the end of this lecture, you can prepare worksheet. You can adjust, you can give adjusting entries and closing entries. Let's start our class. Dear student, this is a trial balance, some asset, liabilities, expense, income, revenues are given here. Some adjustment also, additional information also we have to prepare worksheet. Dear student, for preparing worksheet, you know that first to give adjusting journal. We have three adjustment: expired rent 4,000, expired rent 4,000, then unused repair supplies as inventory it is 1,000, and unpaid salaries 2,000. Dear student, you know that we have to give three adjusting journal at first. Expired rent, what will be the journal? You know that you know the format of journal: date, account title, explanation, LF, debit taka, credit taka. Expired rent, look at, dear student, we have prepaid rent 5,000, and out of that 4,000 is expired. That means rent expenses is 4,000. Rent expenses is how much? Rent expenses is 4,000. So rent expenses will be debit, rent account will be debit, then prepaid rent credit, because prepaid rent is our asset. So this asset is decreasing, this asset is decreasing. So rent expenses debit, prepaid rent credit. Dear student, our asset is decreasing, that's why prepaid rent credit, and expense occur, expense account debit. Then second journal is unused repair supplies as inventory 1,000. Look at, we have repair supplies, this is our asset, and it is 3,000, and yet unused 1,000. That means we have expired expenses, supplies expenses how much? 2,000. Supplies expenses 2,000. So dear student, journal will supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit. Supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit. Supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit. Then student, next journal is unpaid salaries. So that means salary dues. So salary debit, salary payable credit. Salary debit, salary payable credit. Look at rent debit, prepaid rent credit, it is 4,000. Then supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit, it is 2,000. And last journal is salary debit, salary payable, because it is unpaid, that's why it is our liability. Salary is expenses, salary debit, salary payable credit. Then now worksheet. Dear student, this is the format of 10 column worksheet, and by this you know, for preparing worksheet, at first we have to copy the trial balance. At first we have to copy the trial balance. That means at first we have to write bank account, then we have to copy the trial balance. Then all the items of trial balance is here, all the items of trial balance here. Then we have to write the adjustment, then we have to adjust the trial balance, then income statement, then balance sheet, then balance sheet. Dear student, so at first we copied the trial balance, then we have to force the adjustment item. Look at adjustment, we have rent. Rent is 4,000 and prepaid rent 4,000. That means our rent account, a prepaid rent account is we have here in the credit side, prepaid rent debit, prepaid rent credit. So rent account debit and prepaid rent account credit. Look at, this is adjustment column. That means all adjustment we have to posted here. All adjustment we have to posted here. Rent account debit, prepaid rent credit. Rent account debit, prepaid rent credit. So rent account debit, prepaid rent credit. Then our next item is salary expenses debit, repair supplies, supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit. Supplies expenses, look at, repair supplies credit 2,000, and supplies expenses it is debit 2,000. Supplies expenses debit, repair supplies credit. Then next journal is salary debit, salary payable credit. Look at salary account debit, salary account debit, and salary payable it is credit. So adjustment journal is over. Total of adjustment is 8,000. Total of adjustment is 8,000. Total of adjustment is how much? 8,000. Now look at, we have to prepare adjusted trial balance. Adjusted trial balance, that means we have to add trial balance and adjusted trial balance item. Look at, cash 15,000 and adjusted trial balance 15,000, because there is no adjustment here. In adjustment column, no cash. Then prepaid rent, earlier we have 5,000, in adjustment it is 4,000 credit. And all of you know that debit and credit, that means we have to make it credit. Debit and credit, we have to make it credit. So debit 5,000, credit 4,000, that means we have to subtract. So 5,000 minus 4,000, it is 1,000 in adjusted term. Why it is debit side? Because debit side is greater than credit side. Then furniture account, look at debit, nothing is in the adjustment, so directly debit side. Then capital, it is credit, so directly credit side because nothing is here in adjustment side. Commission receipt 2,000, directly 2,000 in the credit. Service revenue 30,000, directly in the credit side of adjusted trial balance. Now salaries, look at 15,000, in the adjustment we have 2,000, so it is debit and the balance also debit. So we know that debit and debit, that means we have to add it, we have to add it. So 15,000 plus 2,000, it is 17,000, it is 17,000. Look at advertisement 9,000 and debit 9,000. Adjustment debit 9,000 and adjusted allowance 9,000. Then rent 4,000 debit, so it is debit 4,000. Supply expenses debit, it is debit 2,000. Then salary payable credit, it is credit. So adjusted trial balance debit side is 67,000 and credit side also 67,000. That means adjusted trial balance is okay. Now we have to post it from adjusted trial balance to income statement and balance sheet. Dear student, if you can remember, last class we have discussed in income statement, in the debit side we will write all the expenses, in the credit side we will write all the income. All income will be credit side, all expense will be in the debit side, and in the balance sheet column all asset will be debit, liabilities and equities will be in the credit side. Liabilities and equities will be in the credit side. Look at cash, this is our asset, so we have to write asset side. Prepaid rent, this is also another asset. You know that rent is expenses, but if any expenses is prepaid, then that is our asset, it is our asset. So prepaid rent is our asset, so it is in the asset side. Then repair supplies, look at, it is credit. Repair supplies, it is debit, so this is another asset in the debit side, asset side. Furniture, it is our asset, so it is recorded in the asset side. Now capital, you know that capital is equity, so it will be credit side of balance sheet, it will be credit side of balance sheet. Then service revenue, this is income, this is commission receipt, sorry, commission receipt, this is our income, so it will be in income side, it will be in income side. Service revenue, this is also income, so it will be in the income side. Then salaries, you know that this is our expenses, so it is in the expense, in the debit side of income statement. Advertisement, this is another expense, so this will be in the debit side, it will be in the debit side of expense side. Then rent, this is also an expenses, this will be debit side of income statement. Then supplies expenses, it is written, it is expenses, so expense is income statement debit side. Then salary payable, this is our liability, salaries payable, this is our liabilities, liability in the credit side of balance sheet, this is credit side of balance sheet. Dear student, now addition, credit side of income statement 32,000. Look at debit side, it is 32,000, that means there is no profit, there is no loss this year. Dear student, you know that in the credit side we write income, so total income is 32,000, and look at total expense also 32,000. If income and expense are equal, that means there is no profit, no loss this year. So now balance sheet asset, it is 37,000, and liability plus equity, it is also 37,000, that means both the side is equal. You know that in the balance sheet it will be automatically both the side will be equal. So dear student, I hope all of you understand 10 worksheet. If you have any type of confusion, of course you can share with me, you can ask me, you can discuss with me, so that you can understand. Dear student, now our last part of today's lecture, this is closing journal. If you can remember the formula for closing journal, you know that we are doing closing journal for what? We are closing journal for what? For closing income and expense account, for closing income expense account. At first you have to prepare journal entries, that means formula of journal, format of journal. There are 5 column in journal: date, account title, and LF, debit taka, credit taka. And dear student, the formula for closing journal is all income account will be debit, income statement credit. To close income statement, to close income item, dear student, to close income, what we have to do? Income account debit and income statement credit. On the other hand, to close expense account, income statement debit, account credit. So what income and expense we have here? Look at, we have income, commission received 2,000, and service revenue 30,000. So these two items will be debit, in income statement will be credit. On the other hand, whatever expense we have, look at, we have expense salaries, advertisement, rent, and supplies expenses. So these three items will be credited and income statement: salary, advertisement, rent, supplies expenses credit, and income statement debit. So this is the closing in this. I hope all of you understand. Dear student, thank